TJ, last slide. And for this one, this is how I kind of look at things when I'm making a financial decision in my life. I'm not saying it's you, but this is what I do, is I kind of look at the pros and cons, right? And usually if the pros outweigh the cons, more than likely it's a smart financial decision, right? So we lay it out here. The program that we're offering is the ownership program. Number one, you own the system, you get the tax credit, increases your home value. If you were to qualify, there's no upfront cost, save money, help the environment, there's a 25-year warranty. Staying where you're at in your current situation, Denby Energy, there's annual rate increases, it's dirty, wasteful energy, there's never-ending payments, no savings. As I mentioned, you're renting your power, not owning it, it adds no equity to the home, and you have no control over what you pay. Okay, so this is the last slide before we get into the good stuff. Do you have any questions on anything that I went over?
Yeah, the tax credit. What is the tax credit?
So a tax credit is actually 26% of the total cost for the program, which I will go into. But as you mentioned, you said you and your wife are W-2, correct?
Correct.
Right? So I will go into it, but yeah, the cool thing is it's a residential energy tax credit. It's dollar for dollar. So as you see your money getting taken out of your checks every month, instead of paying Uncle Sam in the year 2020, you'll be able to take that money and invest it back into your home to help you save some money for the system.
Awesome.
Cool. So let me jump into your design, your proposal.
Shala Shawanza. What are we having from?
Shalabala shalabala Honda.
And guys, just so you're aware, that's literally how I transition. I'm old school. This works for me. That presentation I pitched off of for 4 years, so for me, it works. So you don't want to be redundant when you go into this. If you like that presentation, when you get in here, it's simply go into the design and then go into the numbers. Because everything else that's in the presentation is very similar to what we just went over, right? You do not want to be redundant in sales. Get the point across, get the questions answered, get into the numbers, okay?
I've been very redundant as so far. So
Huh?
I'll work on that. I've been very redundant in mine, so I'll work on that.
I mean, you want to be clear, but you do not want to be redundant. You don't want to be in there 30, 40 minutes just giving too much. That's why you asked, do you have any questions? You want to get them all out. But once they're good, and if you've done really well at this, you'll see them wanting to get to the numbers. If you dropped and planted those seeds, like I even threw in, yeah, it looks like your payment before I came in and looked at it's $102. I said that, and then I moved on. So in his mind, if I qualify, now he's thinking $102. He wants to see the numbers. So that presentation that I built, if you think about it, what other questions does the customer need to know?
That's it.
It goes over everything that is actually important. So if you're redundant and it's just too much. You got to stay on point. And then if you get to the numbers and something comes up or a question comes up, you can answer it. But you don't want to just be sitting there spinning your wheels.
ABC.
Here, yes, building the rapport, the discovery, getting everything out in the open, getting them excited, yes. But on the presentation, dude, like I said, go home, spend a lot of time on it, make it your way, have questions and stories and everything. Like if anyone, how many times have you guys seen me do this training now? How similar was that pitch to the other ones I've done? Because it's in my brain. It's literally memorized.
It's like a canned pitch. You open a can and it's the same every time.
It's the same every time, and it works for me, right? But if you are getting too redundant and spending too much time, dude, you'll lose people. If you think about it, no one wants you to come in their home and pitch them for an hour and then get to the numbers. You want to just make sure you know what you need to go over. Always ask, do you have any questions? And then move on. You don't want to be redundant, I promise. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay? 7.13 TJ, as I mentioned, this is a full offset for your property. So first and foremost, we will go into the design. This is actually a Google image of your home, and that is where the panels will be placed. This is preliminary, so granted that we can get you qualified today, this next step would be the engineering and design team actually goes on and builds a CAD, which is a blueprint design of your home. And then they take that and they submit to the city for that permit that I was talking about. Okay, so do you have any design, any questions at all on the design of the home?
No, so that's the front right there, okay.
Yep,
so
this is the
that's-
front here, and then that's the back. So you've got a total of 23 modules. Okay, and the way we get to your system size is the module size is 310. So we're gonna take 23 modules, times that by 310, and it's gonna give you 7,130 watts, which is a 7.13 kilowatt. In solar slang, the way that we talk, you'd have a 7.13 killie. And I tell homeowners that, give them ownership, make it fun. I don't really go into the estimated year one production unless the customer asks, but it's always good to know. I did with Clinton because it was a new home. So, you know, almost 11,000 kilowatt hours yearly. That is enough to cover your needs. So you don't have a liability to NV Energy. So any questions at all on that?
Nope, looks good.
Right. Cool, let's get into the fun stuff. Where we can show you how to save money. Okay, Clinton. No, TJ, I still got Clinton in my mind. Okay, so TJ, the total is gonna be 28,520. As I mentioned, there is a 26% tax credit, which I know you asked about. I will go into and explain it to you. That is $7,415. Leaves you with a net investment of $21,105. I know that you said your NV Energy bill averages about 160. Was that correct?
Roughly.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I know you mentioned it gets really high, up around 350, and then goes down to about 100. So it might even be a little bit higher than that. But again, under promise, over deliver. If I can have it make sense here, then obviously the more you save is just the cherry on top, okay? So payment for 18 months, that says 104, right?
Mm-hmm.
Payment after $141. Okay, TJ, so as I mentioned, the total is 28,520. Trust me, as I mentioned, I do about 3 or 4 of these a day. I understand you probably just don't have that laying around or under your mattress in your room, okay? So it's just not how the program is designed, is to have that outlay of cash. How do you pay for your NV Energy bill?
Monthly.
Monthly, correct?
Mhm.
So that's how this is designed, is just to replace one bill with another one that is cheaper and locked in and it secures that rate, okay? So the tax credit is $7,415. You will get that in 2021 when you file for your 2020 taxes. And I don't want to get too invasive, but say that you and your wife are around $100,000 a year. You know what that means when it's gross. You make a gross amount of $100,000 a year, and then you net probably around 80, right? So where does that 20,000 go?
Taxes.
Taxes, correct?
Mhm.
And I'm assuming, how does your refund look like every year?
We get money back.
You get money back. Great. I figured that because you're paying about 20 in. What does that refund amount come to usually, roughly?
We're getting right around probably 12.
12,000?
Yeah.
Wow. Just so you guys know that doesn't happen. But
10.
10, okay. So you get $10,000 back. So if you think about it, TJ, sorry. If you think about it, you're getting $10,000 back, but you told me that you make 100 gross, right? And you net 80. So just to make this very simple for you, you get a $10,000 refund, but you paid $20,000 in taxes. That's great that you got 10 back, but you still have that liability of 10,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a dollar for dollar, non-refundable residential energy tax credit. So because you paid 20, you got 10 back. Next year in 2021, you will get a check for $7,415 on top of this amount. Okay? that's obviously at least for me and what I've seen is that's kind of the motivating factor for people going solar. They're like, so I'm gonna get money back from the government that I paid in, and yes, that's how it works, okay? So 28,520, you'll get the $7,415 back when you file for your 2020 taxes in 2021. Leaves you with a net investment of $21,105. Well, let's get to the good stuff, which is payments, okay? So as I mentioned, you see how there's 2 payments here, TJ, okay? So for 18 months, so the system gets installed, it'll take about roughly 2 months to activation. So a month after that second month, once it's activated, we're going to eliminate your $160 bill with NV Energy, and we're going to replace it with $104. If you qualify, that will be your payment, okay? And you have that payment for 18 months. At the 19 month, you have 2 options, DJ. You can take the $7,415 and you can send it into the lender. The payment will stay at $104. If you are comfortable with paying $141 while eliminating $160, so you're still plus $19 in savings, well, we will lock you in. We will lock you in at the $141, and you can take that lovely wife of yours that we just met on a vacation if you'd like. You just moved into a home. I'm assuming, as you mentioned, there's some upgrades that you want to do.
Yeah,
This
I'm gonna
is-
do a man cave.
Into a man cave, all right. Well, I'm sure you could buy a nice TV and a couch for $7,415. So again, it's totally up to you what you'd want to do. If it was me, I would definitely just lock myself in at $141, which is cheaper than what I'm already paying. And remember, that bill won't fluctuate. It'll be $141 every month. That'll be your power bill, and you'll be able to keep the $7,415 in cash.
And that's for the next 25 years?
It is. If you were to qualify, yes. This plan is for 25 years. If you'd like to send that in at the 19th month, your payment will be locked in, same every month, at $104. So trust me, as I mentioned, I do a lot of these every day, and most people are like, well, this has got to be too good to be true. But granted, I have a quick application. If I can get you run through it and you get approved, you will see that those numbers are exact. So TJ, out of you and your wife, who has the best credit?
I do.
You do? Okay, great. Stop it. Chris, you want to stop it?